Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to the Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, protecting young athletes one arm at a time. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Tool Shed, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot can be heard live right here on Fox Sports Radio 1590 KVTA every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Also streamed live on kvta.com. Replays of all Sandlot radio shows are published on the major podcast platforms, including SiriusXM, MLB Network Radio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Simplecast, Apple Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Also check out Sandlot Radio Show on Instagram and Sandlot Radio Network on Facebook for video content with the major league players. Please explore sandlotradionetwork.com for historical reels and images, along with links to our outstanding partners. Last week on The Sandlot, we had a world-famous Sandlot kid. You know him from Dirty Jobs and his podcast, The Way I Heard It. We had Mike Rowe. We also had the son of the Hit King, the son of Charlie Hustle. He is the Hit Prince. We had Pete Rose Jr. This week's Sandlot features more from Pete Jr. and Mike Rowe, plus who's hot and who's not in MLB with our Sandlot Radio Network resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright, and a man that threw a perfect game in the Major League on Mother's Day for a team he grew up loving. He's the current color man for the Oakland Athletics, a man whose childhood dreams really did come true, Dallas Braden. We also have Angels All-star shortstop, the highest draft pick to ever come out of the Big South Conference, Cambell University's Zach Neto. We're going to start you off with who's hot and who's not. Nick, what's really cool is that we got a guy in this show coming up today that is one of only 24 perfect games thrown in the history of Major League Baseball. He threw the 19th in the history of Major League Baseball. And this is how odd it is to have a Major League perfect game thrown. There's been 326 no-hitters, but there's only been 24 perfect games. And out of the perfect games, there has been one thrown on Mother's Day, and that was by Dallas Braden. And it's a great story because his mom had passed away. His grandma raised him. It was in the Oakland Coliseum where he grew up watching games with her, and she watched him throw a perfect game on Mother's Day. So it's an insane story. Jim Bunning also threw one on Father's Day, but it's a 0.01% chance of a no-hitter being thrown. About 1 in every 10,000 games, there could be a perfect game thrown. That's about the odds of it. So it's a very rare feat, and our guy did it on Mother's Day, so that's pretty cool. We had one the other day. Talk about that because it was another combined one.
Yeah, Ted, I mean, just the fact that you got Dallas Braden, and growing up as an Angels fan, I knew the Oakland A's very well, and I remember that day very much. And being someone who was one of the people who was at a no-hitter game and caught a foul ball. I know a lot about no-hitters. But Tad, I'm curious, the Houston Astros just threw a combined no-hitter, the first one of 2026. The last solo no-hitter was Blake Snell back in 2024. Tad, just really quick, I want to ask, when a team throws a combined no-hitter, is that a real no-hitter to you?
Not to me. I don't count that as a real no-hitter because a no-hitter to me is one guy goes 9 innings and gets 27 outs. Somebody got on base. It might have been an error. It might have been a walk. Somebody got on base because it wasn't a perfect game, but he still got everybody out with no hits. Nowadays, they don't let a pitcher go long enough. And I know one thing, if I got it after 7, you better let me go the 8th. But nowadays, they're just shutting them down. And guys are, I guess they're just saying, okay, that's fine. I don't want to be one of the 327 in the history of the game. Just go ahead and take that away from me.
All right, Tad, let's start off with who's been hot and how can we not start off with Shohei Ohtani. Tad, he pitched in the game. He had a leadoff homer. He had a 6-inning no-hit bid and had 7 strikeouts. His ERA is now at .82. Tad, are we looking at a possible Cy Young and MVP? Ohtani just keeps doing the impossible.
Well, I think, if you look at his numbers offensively, they're down, but he has been so much better on the mound that as a guy that's pitched and been good, he's never won a Cy Young. So to put that on the mantle with the MVPs and the 50-50s and all that, that's something that you can really... So I think his focus has been more on pitching, and let's hope that he ends up putting up some of the offensive numbers like we've seen in the past. But I don't think we're going to see a 50-50 season when he's also a type of starter that's going deep into games and winning ball games.
The Dodgers have won 5 straight. They're now 36-20 on the year. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They look like the Dodgers that everyone is expecting. Tad, let's also see who else is hot. Yordan Alvarez of the Astros. He has 5 home runs in his last 7 games, 8 RBIs. He's batting .304. Tad, despite the Astros being bad this year, they're 25-32, 3 games back of the wild card. A lot of talks about Yordan Alvarez being on the trade market. What do you think about Yordan Alvarez this year and his value?
He's a guy that when he gets hot, he's almost impossible to get out, and he goes on stretches like this where he'll hit 5 home runs in 8 games. So he'll be very valuable at the trade deadline for a team that's in contention that needs a left-handed hitting slugger.
Yeah, let's run through a few more. Ketel Marte of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who've won 5 straight. He's hitting .516 in his last 7 games, .422 in his last 15. Trent Grisham hitting .458 with the Yankees his last 7 games. And our pal, now friend of the show, Zach Neto, hitting .333 over his last 7 games. Got to go to San Diego where, he was not hot for a long time, but Fernando Tatis Jr. is hitting .435 over his last 7 games. He still has no home runs this year, Tad. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, his power numbers are way down, and that's got to be a concern for the Padres because they were counting on it, and they've been able to count on it in the past. But he had some things go on that proved that he might have been a little stronger than he should have been, and once that got sorted out, now maybe he needed that to have that type of production.
Hey, Tad, let's see who's been hot pitching-wise. Let's start off in Milwaukee with Kyle Harrison. His last 3 games, no earned runs, 5 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched, and 6 innings pitched, respectively. He's been unbelievable. Cam Schlittler of the Yankees, who's absolutely unbelievable as well. He only is giving up 4 runs in his last 3 games. He only has a 1.5 ERA on the season. And Ted, old man Chris Sale for the Atlanta Braves has just been unbelievable this year. He only has a 2 ERA. He's only given up 3 runs in his last 3 games. How about old man Sale still keeping around?
He's got that funny arm angle. He's nasty as anybody's ever been from the left side. When he's on and he's healthy, he's always going to dominate ball games. So that's the key, is for him to just stay healthy. And it's just a really tough arm angle. He deceives the hitters really well. He hides the ball really well.
All right, Tad, let's go over to who's not been hot really quick. Manny Machado over the last few weeks only hitting .111. Adolis Garcia only hitting .86. Nazem Nunez only hitting .136. Joe Adell of the Angels, .146. A lot of guys struggling.
Guys go through slumps. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in any sport. It's been proven.
I just got to bring up one more guy. Fight getting a walk-off home run against my Rays the other day. Aaron Judge is only hitting .192 over his last 7 games. Only .214 over his last 15. But the Yankees are still look hot. All right, Ted, and that's been who's hot and who's not for the week.
Thank you, Nick. Our next guest grew up watching the Oakland Athletics as a youngster and saw multiple games at the Coliseum, dreaming one day of being an A himself. Not only did he get there, but this left-handed pitcher threw a perfect game on Mother's Day at the Coliseum in Oakland, and now is the color commentator for the A's. We have left-handed pitcher, a man with a perfect game, one of only 24 in the history of Major League Baseball, Dallas Braden. Did you ever think that you'd be a big leaguer and you'd throw a no-hitter?
I had no thought that I would be a big leaguer. I was just trying to make the team. It felt like everywhere I was going, right? And you might excel at one level or the other, but I think the ultimate goal is to just play the game as long as you possibly can. And whether your playing mortality comes sooner rather than later, you do anything and everything you can to create that longevity for yourself. And I was just fortunate enough to, I think, be in the right place at the right time in front of the right people. And that's what ended up leading to a professional career, then a major league career.
And at what age did you have a feeling you were going to do it? And what teams did you follow? What players did you look up to?
The first time that I was able to formulate a coherent thought that I was going to be able to remember is when I knew that I wanted to play baseball. Not that I knew I was going to, but in your heart you just know those things, right? And that's where I was. Is I just knew that I was going to be a big leaguer. So with that being said, I watched baseball religiously every day, all day long, and it was something that lit a fire in me, that excited me, that nothing else even had the chance to touch on. And I grew up watching the A's, grew up watching the Giants, two teams in the area that I grew up in. So you inherently grow up hating the Angels and the Dodgers. But I think if there was just baseball on, period, I was locked in.
And, as a baseball fan myself who had a chance to play this game professionally and begin around it the way I am now, there's no better place to be, is there, Dallas?
There is not. I mean, your baseball has the best ASMR going, right? You can walk out to the field and there can be no music playing, and you can listen to the pop of the glove, you can listen to the crack of the bat, the crunch of the dirt underneath the spikes, and you know where you're at. And you don't have to open your eyes. You can just hear it, and you can smell it, and you can taste it, and visually you're treated to what I call poetry in motion. It's truly a ballet on the baseball field, watching guys take ground balls, watching guys take fly balls, hit the cutoff man, the throws, the tags, the running the bases first to third is still in my opinion, one of the sexiest things we get to watch. Just watching a runner cut the bag at second, there's just so many different things about the game. Watching a guy take a lead, how leading off from first base has evolved from a stagnant position to now getting the shuffle and go. There's just so many things about the game that continue to open your eyes and change. I don't know how you can get bored watching baseball.
So we had the A's and we had the Giants. We didn't like the Dodgers and we didn't like the Angels. What were the players? Because being a lefty, there's got to be somebody you zeroed in on, and there was some good Oakland Athletic left-handers pitchers when you were coming up.
Oh, there was a couple of them. You ever heard of Mark Mulder? Mm-hmm. You ever heard of Barry Zito? No doubt. And there was a left-hander out in the Bay Area by the name of Kirk Reeder that I followed. Think about a guy named Noah Lowry, Sean Estes. I mean, there were some absolutely nasty left-handers that I had the privilege of watching, guys that I wanted to grow up and be like. I really gravitated towards Jamie Moyer just because once I started to get old enough and realize who I was from a competitor's perspective, what my game was going to be. Jamie Moyer was a guy who lived below hitting speed and still made a lot of really, really, really good big leaguers look really, really foolish at times. And so I knew, you know what, that's probably a guy I'm going to learn a lot from. I was a fan of Randy Johnson, who isn't, but there was nothing I was going to learn from Randy that I was going to be able to apply, because you don't just learn how to throw 105 miles an hour. So I stayed in my lane.
And staying in your lane now, you're a broadcaster for the team you grew up loving. You played for the team you grew up loving. Talking about an American dream come true story, Dallas, that's about as good as it gets.
Well, you don't plan it that way, but it gives you so much, and if you can take advantage of the opportunities that either you create or that are presented to you, that's how you hope for things to turn out. And I was very lucky that I had an opportunity presented to me. I was able to join ESPN from that. I parlayed that into an opportunity at NBC Sports in the Bay Area, being an Oakland legend, and being able to learn from one of the greats to ever do this job was something I never thought was going to be a part of my future. So I've just, in my opinion, tried to take full advantage of the moments that I've been presented with, and I just hope that each and every day I'm not only making him proud, but I'm doing a service to the game by loving it unconditionally and by trying to pass along how important I think this game can be and how many parallels there are between baseball and life.
That's a beautiful way of putting it, and I want kids to understand those parallels, because this is a game that builds character.
Oh, no question about it. And one thing I always remind kids of when I talk to them is it takes no talent to hustle, it takes no talent to work hard, it takes no talent to be a good teammate. And those are all three things that can buy you time in this game by just trying to be a quality human being. There's going to be a little talent that you got to sprinkle in there at some point in time. You got to work hard to hone that. But at the end of the day, if you bring the spirit and the love of baseball to the ballpark with you each and every day, you're going to walk away a winner more times than not.
He's a baseball fan. He's a Major League Baseball player. He's a thrower of a no-hitter. Man, I wish I could say that. And he's now a broadcaster for the Oakland Athletics. He's Dallas Braden. Dallas, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Anytime, Tad, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks again to a man that followed his dream from the Sandlot to the big leagues, Dallas Braden. And also to our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright, for the rundown on who's hot and who's not in MLB. We are Fox Sports, 1590 KVTA. Don't go away. When we return, we have more from Dirty Jobs and the Way I Heard It podcast. We have the world-famous Mike Rowe and Angels All-star shortstop Zach Neto. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, trusted to protect young athletes one arm at a time. For more information, go to the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website and click on our title partner, Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your kid's arm today.
Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Hey everybody, this is Damian Moss with the Gulf Shores Collegiate League and 5-Star National. When I'm traveling, I'm always listening to the Sandlot, just like you should.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
That sound, it happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on KVTA.com. The Sandlot is presented by our trusted protector of youth athletes, the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have, from Dirty Jobs, Somebody's Gotta Do It, and the podcast, The Way I Heard It, Mike Rowe. The sad thing is when your granddad had all those different skills that he had, he took pride in that. It was an honorable thing. And now people look at it as a dirty thing. It's a dirty job, and I'm not doing the dirty job. Somebody has to do these jobs, Mike.
Yeah, well, look, it's not that he looked at what he did with pride. He did. But the bigger point was everyone else did too. When you saw Carl Noble, coming home from church or walking down the street, man, you blew the horn and waved, because that guy, everybody knew that he and other people like him were the reason they had hot and cold running water. They understood that value. Today, we don't. I mean, we've become disconnected from a lot of really important jobs. And when that happens, then the next thing is we become disconnected from the people who do them. And so, we know that linemen are responsible for, keeping the lights on, but when there's an ice storm or a fire and we lose our electricity, we get very impatient with them very quickly. Get up on the pole, damn it, fix it, hurry up. So today the conversation isn't, hey, can you make six figures as a plumber? Trust me, you can all day long. Today the conversation is, how long do you want to wait after your toilet doesn't do what it's supposed to do when you flush it? How long do you want to wait for a plumber who knows what he's doing to show up and fix it? 3 days, 4, 5? That's where we are right now in lots of parts of the country. It's a huge issue. And look, I had no idea it would turn into what it's turned into when I started this thing 18 years ago. But work and skill are on the menu. They are for sale today like they've really never been before. And look, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, make sure your listeners know we've got a chunk of money at microworks.org. And we award hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to people who want to learn a skill. Money's waiting. Y'all should go get some.
He's Mike Rowe. He's doing the best things for this country that people don't know about. Thank you so much for that, Mike. And thank you so much for being a guest on The Sandlot. It was worth the 13-month wait.
Let's do it again in another 13.
Thanks again to the very knowledgeable and level-headed Mike Rowe for being a guest on The Sandlot. Right now we've got on a perfect day for baseball in Southern California at the Big A with All-Star shortstop young Zach Neto. Perfect day in Southern California for baseball with Zach Neto, the Angels All-Star shortstop. Zach, thanks so much for being a guest on The Sandlot. Yeah, thank you. Both played in the Big South Conference. I was quite a bit before you, but you recently played in the Big South, and that league has improved a lot. And you played in a time when, well, you were the highest pick ever to come out of that league.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a small conference, but a lot of great talent. You look back at me, Mason Miller, he was at Gardner-Webb, and other big names that come out of there. But it was pretty cool to play in, and it was awesome.
Now that you made it to the big leagues, because it's not an easy road, but you got here really quickly. We got to turn back the clock to your Sandlot days because you grew up in Miami. Yep. There's some good baseball down there, and you also went to a high school that I think has some tradition with good players.
Yeah, no doubt. Born and raised in Miami, and I went to a big public school, Miami Cole Park, and big names out of there: Jose Canseco, Sean Rodriguez, other names, and it was pretty cool. But it goes back to my roots where I guess I wasn't good enough for the teams back home to recruit me, and had to go somewhere else to play and continue my dream. And Cambell gave me the chance, and I took full advantage of it. And it made me the player that I am today, and get me, with all the hard work and grit that I've been accustomed to there at Cambell and the Big South. It's helped me get to where I am today.
And to get here this quickly and do as well as you have, you've turned some things around for this organization. You've given them some hope because you've got a middle infield guy that can really play that position. And plus, you're showing pop that I think you may be even surprising yourself from time to time.
Yeah, it was a big question mark for me getting rid of my leg kick, that I've done my whole life, and having to do it here in the big leagues, against these very great arms up here, and just being able to be accustomed to it, have trust. My coaches, my hitting coaches, and building the trust with me to be able to go out there every single day and do what I do. It makes it fun, and just trying to help this organization be great and get back to 2002 era, where we were in the World Series and won it, and just a matter of taking it one step at a time. I'm fortunate enough to play next to Mike Trout and a bunch of other different great teammates, and it's just a matter of, like I said, enjoying every single bit of it and having fun.
Were you a Marlins fan when you were growing up, or who were the teams that you looked up to and players?
I followed the Marlins. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I wasn't a Marlins fan. I was. I followed all the Yankees fans too. I come back from a Cuban heritage, and we're big Yankees fans. So, my grandparents going back to the Mariano Rivera days. But
I'm going to catch you after.
All right. Some of my favorite players growing up were Giancarlo Stanton and Derek Jeter, Handler, back when he played for the Florida Marlins. So, some old players, but people I still look up to today.
And what age did you feel like you were going to have a chance? Because you said you didn't, coming from Miami, you'd think you'd have been in Florida school, but you go north to play baseball. It's usually the other way around. But like you said, Cambell gave you an opportunity. You took advantage of it. And to be a first-round draft pick out of Big South is a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. I would say, at 11 or 12, when I had my first elbow surgery, and then a year later having a second one, for the same procedure, I wouldn't say I didn't lose love for the game, but I felt like I didn't get myself out there enough to where teams or schools could see me play enough, and I didn't play really until my sophomore year of high school after 6th grade. So there was a big gap, and I felt like I was always behind and always trying to catch up to all my friends and other great players like Bobby Witt, in that same class as me, and other great guys. So I knew the college route was going to be for me, and just trying to, the biggest thing was just getting my education from my family. I've always promised them that I was going to do that for them and for myself. And baseball, you can make it to the big leagues, but it's not going to be a forever job. And just to be able to do that, and it ended up working out for me, where baseball ended up working out, and I went to school, finished 2-3 years, and was able to get drafted in the first round and make it this quick to MLB and play for the Angels, and it's pretty awesome.
I scouted for 10 years internationally, and one of my things that I came up with is I'm a scout that's out and about looking for the next Mike Trout. You got to play alongside of this guy, man. Yeah. And I know this year he's more healthy, but to see this guy play a full season healthy would be so good for the Angels and all of baseball.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like you said, not only for us, but for the game of baseball. He's the best player in my eyes, from going from teammate to player out there watching, and just as a human being, he's one of one, and being able to pick his brain a little bit, and just kind of call him like my older brother. He brings me under his wing, and takes me everywhere, and always shows me about things, baseball stuff related or not. A couple of weeks ago, I was going through a little slump, and he bought some Pokemon cards for me, and we ended up ripping a Charizard, and he was like, that's a homer right there, and broke out of my slump with a homer that night. So it was pretty cool, and it just shows the character and person that he is. And it's not only about himself, it's about how can he make the team better, and I love him to death, man, and he knows that.
He's here. He got here quick. He's Zach Neto. He's an all-star shortstop for the Angels. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks to Mike Rowe for blessing the Sandlot with his presence. Also, the Angels All-Star shortstop Zach Neto. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Why wait to start protecting your player's arm? Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com for the partners page and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, I'm Justin Robleski, and I listen to The Sandlot.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe. If you know me, it's probably from a fantastic TV show called Dirty Jobs. If you don't worry about it. The important thing is I'm in The Sandlot with Tad. And if you think it's dirty in here, well, you're right.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
That sound. It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. Right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on KVTA.com. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have another very special guest. His father was the reason that several generations of baseball players played the game hard. Listen to more from the hit prince, Pete Rose Jr., a story that just must be told. You know what, Pete? We've been doing it so long and out of the love for it. And there are things that disgust us about it with the changes. And I was a professional for 20 years between playing and scouting. And then you end up realizing there's certain things about the game that you just don't like. Now I get to educate people about those things. This is what you get to look forward to because they're in shock. Like if you play NCAA Division I baseball in the ACC, until you're a big leaguer, you're not going to get that experience again because the minor leagues are nothing like that.
Correct. Absolutely, man. And it's just, the thing that really bothers me is, you get guys that are coaches, and if I'm a player and I'm 0 for 15 and I go to ask my hitting coach, hey, man, what should I do here? I really don't know. I never really played. I can tell you what your numbers are or what this is or what that is. Or if you get a pitching coach and, hey, I can't really figure out where the strike zone is. Well, I can tell you your spin rate or whatever, this, that, whatever. I remember when we played, there were always old school baseball guys that would kind of teach you, if you get in this situation, you might want to do this, or if you, this, that, whatever. Guys have been through the fire, the guys that played. And the thing that stinks for younger players and players today is you don't find that a lot in organizations where you have old school baseball guys that, I remember going into Durham my first year and Frank Howard's in our dugout. He was a rover with the Braves in Durham, just telling stories. And it's just, whenever the old big league guys used to come in, Jim Hickman was one of my, roving hitting instructors with the Reds. And he'd come in and tell stories about this guy and that guy and this guy. And you got rovers today that can't tell you those stories because they never played. And it's like, how the hell am I going to listen to you if you never played? I mean, you never been in the fire. You know what I mean? You've never been on a mound. You're telling me I got to get my arm up. I don't know crap about pitching because I was taught to hate them, obviously. But, it's like, how do you expect me to believe you when you've never been on a mound in a full count, game on the line situation? But you want me to do this or do that? It stinks for the younger guys and the younger generations. But, everybody's got personal coaches and all this other stuff, something that we never had back in the day. Because if you had a personal pitching coach or a hitting coach, you're going to get released on the first day. Because I remember, the one year at the White Sox, Walt Rainiac was the hitting coordinator, and you had to hit like him, and they didn't give it. My dad had more hits than everybody. I had to hit like Walt Rainiac. If not, you'll see you later. You know what I mean? So.
Well, plus back in the day, we had to go report to a stadium that, like you said, was old and not groomed, and you were going to play on that. That's your home field. Nowadays, almost all the stadiums in the minor leagues are really beautiful and well taken care of.
Yes, they are.
So they do get a different experience right out the gate, but they still don't have the crowds, and they don't have what they had at the Clemson or wherever they were at.
Sure, no doubt, man. It's like, the food these guys eat. I remember managing in Kannapolis in 2014, and it really started to take off where the organization is paying clubhouse dues, paying for pregame food, postgame food. I mean, pregame food. I mean, how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches did you eat in the summer?
Oh, my God. I lived off that.
Right. And if you got lucky, if you took the third piece of bread and put it in the middle so you had a bigger sandwich. I just remember when a big leaguer came to rehab, hey, we were eating Outback afterwards or Olive Garden afterwards instead of the box that they put down. It's got a couple dogs and a couple bags of popcorn. Like, I mean, I could only imagine playing today. It'd be like, man, this is awesome. I mean, just, you know what I mean? It's crazy. They don't do that stuff anymore, Teak. It's crazy, brother. But I mean, but like you said, man, that Power 4 colleges, and you know what, any Division I college, some D2s and D3s, I mean, their facilities are, they're unbelievable. And we had to pay clubhouse dues, and you had to pay rent wherever that was.
And you do the math on that, and there might be like 80 cents left.
Yeah, right. Hey, but by the way, we go on this next road trip. It's a commuter, but you still got to play clubhouse dues, and God forbid you ask for something extra because that's a tip on top of the clubhouse guy. You know what I mean? But you're right, man.
He's Pete Rose Jr., 21-year professional, still a professional coach. So how many years is this? 88 till now is like 150 years, I think.
Yeah, I feel every time I wake up, it feels like 150 years. I had a knee replacement in 2012. But you know what, Teak, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do anything different, man. I just remember it was all about getting to the post, and it's all about playing for your teammates, man. Whether you're sick, tired, now these days, I think Schwarber didn't play last night because he was sick. And if I would have came in the locker room and said I was sick, I would have been disowned by my dad, and my teammates would have looked at me, kind of funny, and I could have never had that. And that's a game today that I think guys like me and you understand. It's not about you. It's all about playing for your teammates. Like when you look to the right and look to the left and understand that's what you're in the room for, you're going to win. Because if you're playing for one another, and you guys have a good year, hitters are going to be hitting 300, pitchers are going to win 20 games, relievers are going to have save numbers. And, but I don't think it's like that the way it was when we were. Like you had a team, I remember in 2000, I played on probably the best team ever as far as clubhouse wise. We went out to dinner. That was Reading Phillies. We lost 3 games in June. We went out to dinner. I think we were in Bowie and went to a Chili's table for 23. 23, yeah, it was everybody. It's one of those type of teams. And I don't think you got that today. I think it's kind of everybody, they take the styrofoam, box and they kind of go their separate ways. You know what I mean? And it's just, and that kind of sucks because I just remember that was the best part about playing pro ball is the people you meet. I'm sitting here talking to you. I haven't talked to you since 1989, and we were in spring training together. And it's like people don't understand when you're part of that fraternity. It's not for only the year; it's for life. I mean, you meet friends and players and teammates, and that sticks with you, and that makes you the person you are. But I think today is a little different, and that kind of sucks too. Like I tell my son, just you play for your teammates, man. You look to the left, look to the right. If you're hurting a little bit and they're going out there, well, you better get your ass out there because if not, it's not a very good look. But it's just different, brother. It's a different game, man. Like you said.
He's the son of the hitman, and for me, he has to go into the Hall of Fame at some point. I don't care how, but that has to happen.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It's. I think if you're from Cincinnati, if you're any kind of baseball fan, I think you understand. He's a Hall of Famer, regardless of what anybody says. What happened? It's just a shame that he's not with us anymore. And if that were to happen, he's not going to be able to enjoy it because I think he would have been probably one of the happiest guys to ever have that moment. And listen, my dad played baseball because he loved to play baseball. But more importantly, my dad loved his teammates. Bench, Morgan, Perez, Concepcion, Griffey, Geronimo, Mike Schmidt, Bob Boone. I go on and on and on and on. And that's one thing that I took most from watching Dad and being around is the love he had for his teammates. And he played for his teammates. He knew he had to go out and play, and he played hard. And it was just kind of how we did it, how we were brought up. But the love he had for his teammates, I think if he was still around and he got inducted in the Hall of Fame, he'd have been one of the happiest guys to go in there to do it. But you know what? At the end, he was, he knew he made a mistake, and you know what? It was his fault, and he would have told you that. And I think it stinks that they waited so long until he was not around to do it. So whatever that's worth, you can take that however you want to take it. But, I just think it sucks, that he's not here to be able to enjoy that. I remember when they took him off the permanent banish list, and, I reached for my phone and I'm like, I'm going to call Dad and celebrate. Well, Dad's dead. I couldn't call him. And it's like, man, you talk about sucking. It's just, just little things like that. And it's funny. It's like baseball season. I used to call him. You'd be watching a game in San Diego. There's a Rose 14 jersey. Hey, did you see it? Did you see it? Or he'd call me. Did you see it? Did you see it? And never shied away from signing an autograph or making a kid's day or doing this or doing that. But he just really loved being a baseball player, man. I mean, that was Pops. Did Pops make mistakes? Of course, we all do. But Pops really loved being a baseball player. He loved being from Cincinnati. He loved being a Cincinnati Red. And you know what? And he'll tell you this if he was still here. He loved being a winner. I mean, for his favorite stat is he played in the most winning games out of any athlete, professional athlete that has ever come along. And it's funny. I tell people all the time, we're Roses. We put our pants on one leg at a time, just like the Powers do, just like the Smiths do, just like the Reynolds do. The only difference in me and everybody else is my dad's got more hits than anybody else's dad. It just sucks he's not around to kind of I don't want to say enjoy it, but just to see what's going to happen here in the future. But we kind of know what Dad was and what Dad was all about. So it is what it is, man.
4,192, to put it in perspective, go 20 years and get 200 hits and you're still short.
Well, 4256 is the total.
4256.
Yeah, and I got 2, and 4256 is unbelievable. And it's like, that's not even counting his playoff hits, his minor league hits, his spring training hits. You know, people ask me, you know, sometimes, what set your dad apart? I remember in Tampa, spring training, every home spring training game, he would set up a B game, and he would go down to the complex, and he would hit 9 times. He would play the full 9 innings and lead off every inning of a B game. Then he would sit down and have lunch with the minor league guys, because he never wanted. And I remember asking him one time, why'd you do that, Pops? He's like, I wanted the minor league guys that when they came to the big leagues, they didn't feel like they were threatened by me. I want them to be comfortable. So we used to go to Reds Land, have a cup of soup, some crackers, get on the bus. He'd go back up to Al Lang and play in the A game for the Reds and play all 9 innings. And I remember asking, why'd you, Pete? I wanted to have as many at-bats as I possibly could before the season started. And it was every home game the Reds had in spring training. People don't understand that. Now I remember I was managing with the White Sox. I forget who it was. They set up a B game. I'm like, oh, he's going to come down and hit. No, he wanted to come down and bunt 9 times. And then didn't even go to the play in the A game. Went home after that. I mean, Dad would be, hey, we got to go early tomorrow. They got a 9 o'clock B game at Reds Land. Going to play 9 innings, not just to hit, going and playing third base, and then we had lunch, go back up, and he'd play 9 innings in the A game. And I remember you'd ask him, why'd you play 9 innings in the A game? Well, I wanted at bats, but more so people paid to see me play, so I wanted to play. I was making every trip. I didn't, I remember taking the Tampa to Fort Myers trip, going down playing on the hot turf against the Royals or, wherever it was. And just like, people don't understand that about Dad. Like, Dad loved playing for the fans, man. I mean, that's why he played hard, but that's how we grew up. Like, I remember my grandpa, if my dad didn't play hard, he's going to hit the fan. And it's like, you're not going to embarrass me in my town. And it was my grandpa's town. My grandpa was a great football player. I remember the story of my dad saying he broke his hip and went downfield and made a game-saving tackle and then went to the hospital afterwards. That's where the hard nose comes. That's where the hard nose comes from. But Pops was always about signing autographs, taking care of the fans. And if you come here to Cincinnati, it's Pete Rose's town, man. I mean, everybody wanted to wear a 14. Everybody did Dad's stance. Dad was our Babe Ruth. Like, if you go to New York, Babe Ruth is God. Well, when you come to Cincinnati, to this day, you put on a Reds game, there's 14 jerseys everywhere. That's our guy.
What a treat to have Pete Rose Jr. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page, click on Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your player's future.
The king of craft, the colossus of clout, the colossus of clout, Babe Ruth, the great Bambino.
Hey, this is Pete Rose Jr., son of the all-time hit leader, Pete Rose, and you're listening to The Sandlot with Teak, better known as Tad Powers.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, they bring your ideas to life. From custom screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, they do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. Call 310-350-3394 or visit maxgraphicsla.com today. Max Graphics LA, where your brand gets noticed.
Whether you're in the batter's box or grinding through a 12-hour shift, your gear matters from the inside out. Introducing Toolshed Premier Compression Underwear. Toolshed is designed for the athlete and worker who demand comfort and durability. Moisture-wicking technology, aero-cooling mesh, and a fit that stays put. No chafing, no riding up, just pure performance. Upgrade your base layer today at ToolshedUSA.com. Use code SandlotRadio10 for 10% off. Toolshed, made in America.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
It was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by the most trusted protector of arms in the industry, the Kinetic Arm. Right now, we have more from a current coach in the Gulf Shores Collegiate League, longtime pro player and coach, Pete Rose Jr. It wasn't just
will
Cincinnati,
be our guy,
bud, because here's the thing. I'm a Cub fan. I didn't even like the Reds, but I liked watching your dad play the game. And like I said, generations of American kids grew up wanting to play the game as hard and as tough as him. And that means so much, not to mention being the all-time hit leader. That's enough
no doubt, man,
to be in the Hall of Fame.
Sure. No doubt. I agree with you 1,000%. But the thing is, people don't realize if you're from Cincinnati, especially the West Side, you don't think about playing that way. You just do it. That's how you're brought up. That's the only way we play on the, and it's funny because you got a West Side and East Side thing in Cincinnati, which is hilarious. And I'm sure the East Side's probably the same. But when you're from the West Side, you wanted 14. You knew you were sliding head first. You knew you were going to break up a double play. If there was a fight, you're going to be the first one out there. He was just, he was the guy. But I agree with you, man. There's no Hall of Fame without that. I mean, that record, it's like Cal Ripken's record, man. It's never going to be broken. It's longevity. Like you said, 200 hits for 20 years and you're still 256 short. I mean, that's getting it done, man. And it's you don't have guys that get 200 hits these days.
No, you don't.
Because
they strike out too many times.
Well, that's the thing too. It's they start all these guys that throw 100. I've never seen guys more look nice and easy on 100. I remember facing guys like Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor or Jeff Wallace that threw 97, 98. And I remember it was a big difference from 94, 95. These guys today, if a guy throws 100, they look like it's nothing. And I don't understand that because I remember it was a big difference. Once you got to 96 or 7, it's like, holy, I had to pick one. And if I got it and I miss it, I'm out. Now these guys today, they foul off 100 and they're up there comfortable. Mason Miller throws it's harder than anybody. It's like 103. And, they get up there and they're just so comfortable about it. So does he really throw 103 or is it the guns?
They're 5 miles an hour slower than the one I was scouting with. Faster.
It was the old, back in our day, it's like if you got the jugs, you were throwing 94. If you got the ray gun, you're throwing 89.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's right. And it's like everything's about bat speed or exit velocity and arm spin rate and how hard you throw. There's no way all these guys are throwing 100. 100 is, I can't even fathom getting in the box and being comfortable against somebody throwing 100. Like, I just can't. I've been there 97, 98, maybe borderline, don't know where it's going. Okay, I'm not going to look this comfortable. These guys today, man, they get in there like it's nothing. And it's like, man, this guy throws 100. Otani throws 100. And guys are in there just fouling balls off like it's nothing. It's like, how's that possible?
I don't think I do think the guns
I don't
are
either,
juiced.
man.
That's what I think.
I do too.
But
I do too.
They
I
are
agree with
teaching
you.
max velocity. Guys are getting hurt at a way alarming rate. The best pitchers in baseball go down because they're max effort, max spin. And then the hitters with this launch angle stuff, if you watch the best hitters in baseball, they did not swing up.
Listen, my dad always used to tell me it's a mind trick on how you get there. You're never going to, on how he taught me how to get on top, swing down. You never do that. There's only one way to hit a baseball. You drop behind, but you can't teach that. I mean, you can't do it. I mean, and I remember Dad saying all this launch angle stuff, all this other stuff. I can't teach you to drop behind the plate. I mean, it works for some guys, but not everybody's Aaron Judge and 6'6" and 250 that's got godforsaken power. But, I look at him and let's say Stanton hit balls that are going to go out of Yankee Stadium. Judge will hit balls that'll barely get over with topspin. And it's like, if Judge could really backspin the way Stanton can, he'd hit balls out of Yellowstone Park.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he's one of the best in the game. He's one of the best in the game, and, he does what he does. But I just remember, Dad Pete, you're never going to swing down. You can't do it. But it's how you think. Watch the old timers on deck. They used to swing Jeter straight down. My dad straight down. Johnny Bench straight down. Hank Aaron straight down. It's just how they thought. And see, people today's game, all the gurus and everything, they want to teach by video and everything. And you know what, I hate to say it, but video shows the same thing. There's only one way to hit a baseball, and you have to drop behind, and you have to do exactly what everybody else does. But if we're talking about swings, I want to know what Pujols was thinking about. I want to know what Pops was thinking about. When you threw sidearm, I didn't want to know what your rates were. I want to know what you're thinking about. How'd you get that sinker to dive the way it does, or the frisbee to go all the way? What are you thinking about? And people don't want to do that today. It's all about video, and you got to hit one way. Well, we know that doesn't work, and you wonder why the strikeouts are up. I mean, all you got to do is, if a guy's dropping behind, just put it up where his numbers are, and you can't touch it. I mean, you've seen enough baseball. It's, I hate to sit here and be the bad news guy, but it's just, and that's the thing. I don't want you to show, I want you to tell me what you're thinking. And it's just, I remember Dad always used to saying, it's a trick to get you there. If you're thinking about this, you're never going to do it. I remember for 21 years, I tried to not let my barrel drop behind the plate. If I looked at video for 21 years, my barrel dropped behind the plate for 21 years. I never thought that way, But hey, what do I know, right?
Yeah, and what we do and what we think we're doing are two different things. And
that's right.
They didn't have any video back in the day, or spin rate or any of that.
No.
I'd like to know what my spin rate was, because I had a frisbee that was as nasty as anyone's, and I wonder what my spin rate was. But nobody even talked about that back in the day.
No, but that's the thing, Teak. You knew, and well as I knew, if they gave you a chance and they said, okay, after your year in Peninsula, if they would have taken you the next year and put you in the big leagues, you'd have figured it out. You'd have been okay, but you had to have the chance. It's like I tell everybody what's the difference between the big leagues and the minor leagues? Well, if you're selling used cars, you're selling Mercedes. Well, you're the same salesman, but if you're in the Mercedes, you got better cars, better office, better clientele. And if you just come up from used cars, you may struggle at the beginning, but you'll figure it out. It's like the big leagues. If any young player, if they get a chance, hey, here, go take 100, 200 at bats. Whatever happens. Those are the guys that usually stay. Pitchers, don't worry about what your numbers are. Go out and get your feet wet and, do whatever. You're going to end up staying. And it's like, guys that get up there and they go crazy when they're spraying and pressing and everything. Those are the guys that don't stick. I mean, I wish somebody would have told me in 97, hey, you're set up to fail. You're a rookie and you're pinch hitting. I remember the ball looking like this to going looking like a mini marshmallow. I'm facing Billy Wagner in the shadows, left on left. It's like I got no chance, and I'm sitting there thinking, I wish somebody would have said, "Hey, I expect you to strike out. Just go and have a good at bat." Oh, that would have calmed you down and maybe made you be yourself. Or hey, Teak, you're coming in this base loaded situation. You haven't pitched in 3 weeks. I don't expect you to do anything. Just go out and compete. Next thing you know, you get out of it. And as opposed to, hey, my job's on the line. I got to do this. I got to do that. And, we didn't do that as players when we knew, in Peninsula, you were in the ninth and you just went and did what you did. Didn't matter if you did it, if it worked or if it didn't. You knew the next night if you guys were ahead, you're in a ball game, and it's, people don't want to hear that about today's game. They don't want the old school mentality on how it was. And I remember, especially in my two teams in independent ball in Wichita in 16 and 17, man, I had ass kickers, man. We just went out and played. And it was like, you guys are playing. If we need to make a move, we'll make a move. There's no pressure. Go be yourselves. And it's amazing on how those guys would come to me and like, hey, Skip, man, it's been the best year playing, man. I've been relaxing. Of course, that's how you got to play, man. Today it's, you get called up and you think you can't make it out. Well, hey, it's funny. My number one teaching moment for any player I talk to, who's got the most hits in a game? Your dad. Who's made the most outs? I don't know. My dad. You want to sacrifice? Will you give that up? Absolutely. So if you take that and look at that perspective, you're going to make outs, man. You're going to, as my dad used to say, you're going to right turn a ton. He right turned 18,000 times, I think it was. It's a lot of outs, man. But it's just, it's just a different way that they teach and a different way the game is. And I think that's the part, man. It's not like it was back in the day where everybody kind of, I remember Jeter saying one time, hey, it's coming. You're going to struggle. It's how you deal with it.
That's right.
Nobody's perfect. And I tell players all the time, also, you're the guy. You're the guy. What do you mean? Well, you're the guy that the man upstairs said, you're the perfect one. Never strike out, never make an out, never make an error. Right? Then they kind of look at you like, I guess you're right, Skip. Let's keep it moving. Anyway.
He's Pete Rose Jr. He's a baseball lifer and still doing the baseball thing today. Pete, I want to thank you. It's been a long time coming. It's a treat to have you on my show. Pete Rose Jr., thanks for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Pete, my pleasure, brother. Great to hear from you.
Thanks for listening to just the 5th Sandlot Radio Network program of the 2026 baseball season. We will continue to bring you unique childhood stories from the biggest names in baseball, including current, former, and future major league players, coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media, as they reflect on their road to the big leagues. You can catch replays of this year's and past season's episodes of the Sandlot Radio Show on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud page. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for video content with the major league players. We also have links to YouTube, Spotify, and SiriusXM MLB Network. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website to check out reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send us a message through the website at SandlotRadioNetwork.com. I want to thank all of our amazing guests on this week's Sandlot Show. We had the world-famous voice of Mike Rowe telling his Sandlot story, and the son of the Hit King, the son of Charlie Hustle, longtime pro still coaching, a man with baseball in his blood, Pete Rose Jr., and Angels catalyst at shortstop, Zach Neto. Plus a man living the dream, the owner of one of only 24 perfect games in Major League history and the only one to ever do it on Mother's Day, A's broadcaster Dallas Braden. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on KVTA.com. Next week's Sandlot features LA Dodgers World Series heroes Miguel Rojas and Alex Vessier. The Sandlot has been presented by the most trusted leader for athletic arm protection, the Kinetic Arm. To purchase and start protecting your athlete today, go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click on the Kinetic Arm on the Partners page. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Tool Shed, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Max Graphics LA, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own, it's our field, it's our neighborhood, it's our team, it's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to the Sandlot.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
The difference between safe and out is inches. And the difference between hesitation and going all out, confidence. But confidence disappears fast when you're worried about cuts and scrapes. Introducing Pro Slide. Padded compression sleeves for legs and arms, protecting knees, shins, and elbows so you can play all out. Stay in the game with Pro Slide. Get yours today by visiting the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website. Visit Partners, then Pro Slide. Pro Slide Sports. Play hard, stay protected.
When you run a sports facility, tournament, camp, or recreation business, you need more than insurance. You need coverage built for the game. For over 35 years, Fairway Underwriters has specialized in protecting sports and recreation organizations nationwide, from baseball and softball facilities to camps, leagues, tournaments, golf courses, fitness centers, and special events. Because when the unexpected happens, experience matters. Fairway Underwriters, the name trusted for quality and innovation since 1989. Call 1-800-662-2141 or visit fairwayunderwriters.com today. Fairway Underwriters, protection built for sports.
With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future.